Okay, ART1, so you are at the step where you need to start designing your deck of cards using Vector. So right now I am in Vector and I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm going to show you how to set up your page size, and overall just how to use Vector for your project. Sign in with Google. Use your school account. Okay, and now we're at the page where all of our projects are located. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create File. Okay, so here in the document, we need to first change the page size. And we're going to do that by looking at the right side of our screen to see Pages and Layers. We're going to click on Pages. And in the bottom left corner, you'll see the page size. And right now it is in pixels, and we want to change that to inches. So in File Settings, which is the page with the gear on it, I'm going to change it to inches. And while I'm here, I'm also going to change my name of my file, Cards Ace through 4. I can fit 4 cards on this document at one time. Okay, so now we're in inches. In the bottom left corner again, it changed our size, but we need to uncheck the link box, which is like an infinity symbol. So uncheck that box. Change the page size to 8.5 by 11, which is the size that we are printing on. And then if you zoom out, it should look like a sheet of paper. So we know that a deck of cards is a rectangular shape, but it also has rounded edges. Way back in the 1800s, they figured out that rounding the edges, which is actually discovered in America, extends the life of a playing card because it does not dent or ruin the corners. So we have the tool Rounded Rectangle. I'm going to select my Rounded Rectangle tool, and near the corner, I'm going to just stretch out a rectangle. And I'm putting it kind of near the corner, but not all the way in the corner. That way when I print it, my card is not cut off from the printing margins. So we need to change the size of this rectangle to the actual size of a card. So by clicking on the rectangle, we have all the options on the right side. We can change the color of our rectangle. So if I want it to be white, I just drag the color all the way up into white. Because it's white, I can't see it anymore, so I'm going to check the border. And now I have a border around it, which I can change that color to any color I want as well. If I want the border to be thicker, I can up the border. It's going to jump it to 1, so I just want it to be about 0.2. Actually, 0.1 is probably enough as well. 0.05. Border, and then we have all these other options that I don't really need at the moment. But shadow just adds a double shadow to the right side or above it. Don't really need to mess with that. I'm going to uncheck that. Inset shadow. See what that does. I think that's on the inside of our rectangle. So uncheck that. We don't need that either. But in the bottom right corner is our dimensions of our rectangle, and we need to change it to the size of a card, which is 3.5 by 2.5. And before I change the size, I uncheck that link box in the center. That box just does that whatever I change on one side will automatically change on the other side for me. So we have one size of our card. We're going to hit Control-C on our keyboard and Control-V to paste. And you'll see these snapping lines. These snapping lines help guide me to show when my object is in the center of another object. I want it to be very close to my other card. So what's going to happen is this is going to be the back side of my card, and this is going to be whatever number or face card it is. When we print these, Even if you're online, you can print them yourself or submit them and I'll print them for you. You're going to fold these two cards on this edge in the center. So you want them to be very close, however, not exactly on top of each other. Otherwise, we're going to overlap and take up some of the image that we created. Okay, so there's the back, there's the side. When I have these two cards designed, then I can copy and paste them all the way down. I'm not going to copy and paste this rectangle just yet because I haven't put anything in there, and the back side of my card will be the same on all 54 cards. This is going to be my number card, so to add text, we know that we can add text from the T tool on the left side. And then to add an image, we can upload an image. So I'm actually going to jump to my example that I've already started creating, just to show you how this is going to look when you're done. Open it up here. Okay, so these are my B suits. So I have ace of B, I have 2 of B, 3 of B, and 4 of B. So you'll notice that when we look at a deck of cards, nothing is ever upside down. So whatever is at the top is reversed on the other side, because if you lay down a card, the person on the other side of the table doesn't want to see an upside down image. So these are reversed and upside down. And on this left side, I'm working on the back side of my card. And I'm going to probably change the color. I changed the color of my rectangle on my right side to the color of my suit. I want it to be yellow, so I changed it to that color. Also, the number is also that color as well. So however you want to represent that color of suit, make it clear that it is the yellow B or whatever you want it to be. Once I have everything created in this first card, I copied and pasted it all the way down so I didn't have to recreate my B so many times. So how did I create my B in this card? I actually inserted an image, and if I look on the left side here, I have all of my layers. Everything I ever put into this document, such as a pen line, a shape, everything individually appears in my layers list. Whatever is at the top is, think of it like a sandwich. It is the very top bun of my layer sandwich, and then whatever is at the bottom is the bottom bun, and everything in the middle is the toppings based on the order. So this 2 of B is below the 3 of B. So if I were to move those on top of each other, the 3 of B would be showing first, and the 2 of B is beneath it, overlapped. So the only easy way to think of layers is like a sandwich. So my image for my B is this one. I just went on Google and I found a picture of a bee. You'll notice that when I moved and wanted to make my bee larger, it stretches it and morphs it. To make an image not stretch and morph, let me hit undo here, I have to hold down Shift on my keyboard and then I can stretch it. So it will not move, get wide, get deformed in any way as long as I hold down Shift and pull the corner. So I'm going to zoom in to my bee here. And then I'm basically going to trace on top of this. So I use the pen tool and I use lots of shapes. You're not going to get these fuzzy hairs with vector. That's a lot of lines and it looks kind of funky. So basically just solid shapes, like a coloring book, is what we're going for. It's going to look very animated and very poppy. So I'm going to first start with my abdomen here. I'm going to choose the ellipse tool. I'm going to stretch an oval about the size of the abdomen. Okay, so it's not exactly an oval. I have this little point at the end. So to adjust my ellipse tool, you could just set them on that desk, please. Thank you very much. To adjust my ellipse tool, I can double click on the image and all my points will appear. So I can stretch this point longer. I can even add a point if I want to bring this in. Just clicking on the edge of my bee's abdomen here. and it will change so that it fits what I want. Okay, so once I get that done, I'm going to move it aside, and I need to match the color of my bee. So I'm going to go to my color selection tool, and I'm going to find the eyedropper. Anytime you need to match a color to your image or match a color to another area of your project, use the eyedropper tool. So it's this little syringe looking thing in the color options. Select that, and you'll have a circle. And you're going to hover over the color you want, and then this will change to that color. Then I'm going to send it to back so that I can keep working. And actually, it's going to take a really long time. So I just want it behind my image. So if I click my image and move that to top, and then my ellipse beneath that. Sometimes Vector doesn't like a huge change all at once, so this should be sending to back, but it's taking a long time loading. If that ever happens, you can just refresh your page, and I might have to redo it. Vector can be pretty glitchy, so Control Z on your keyboard or Command Z is going to be your friend to undo mistakes, because Vector does like to wig out on you sometimes. Alright, so I need this behind. I don't know why it's not moving behind on me. Oh, I clicked the wrong image. Alright, my image is this one at the top. Alright, so this image is actually my paintbrush. So I recommend renaming your layers so that you know what they are. Because you have multiple image names, you have multiple rectangles. So naming them so you know what they are, so you have to find them, is recommended. So I'm going to name this my bee image. Okay. So find my ellipse, move that behind. Might have to refresh again. Like I said, it just takes a second. Okay, here we go. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. Okay, so now I can move this behind my image, and now it will go behind there. And then I can start drawing my stripes on my bee. So if I want to do this one, and then I would click back on a dot to complete it, send that behind, and then just kind of keep on going with whatever you want. Because this is a larger stripe, what I can do is I can make the thickness a little bit bigger so I don't have to recreate that whole entire shape with the pen tool. Send that behind. For the rear end of the bee, I would have to enclose a shape, and I have to finish it where I started. And if I click on that, use the eyedropper tool to select a color here, send that behind. So to see my progress, I can click the eyeball. So if I hover over the image that's at the top here, you have a lock and you have an eyeball icon. I would click the eyeball icon, and it would show me my progress. Now, if I don't like the progress that's going on, I would have to double click and I would see all of my points again, and I can readjust them like I did with the yellow part of the B, so that I don't see anything coming through of what's going on. Okay, so that's done. And then once I get my B all done, I can group everything together. So I'm going to zoom out here. And I'm actually going to delete this because I don't want this anymore. Then when I get my B all done, so if I select a B tool creation here, and if I highlight all of it, you'll notice that on the left side, it's a folder that's highlighted. If I right click on this, I'm going to ungroup it. You'll see everything just expanded on the left side. So this is, every little part of this is separate that I created, and I just placed it together with the pen and the fill tool and all of that stuff. When I'm done, I want to group it so that I can move it as a whole and copy it over and over again. So I highlight and click and drag. In order to highlight and click and drag, I have to make sure that this rectangle is locked. So if I look at the bottom left side of my screen, you'll see there is a lock and an eyeball. So this rectangle, oh, what happened here? My rectangle went away. It is locked, so this is my ace rectangle. If I unlock it, I can move that freely, but I don't want to. I want it to stay in place. So I'm going to lock it so that I cannot click on it and I can't move it no matter how hard I try. So then now I can highlight my B once my rectangle is locked, right click and group it, and now everything can be moved as a unit and I don't have to worry about moving every single piece. And then if I click on the folder, I can rename that as Ace B, so I know what that folder is, and I know that that is for my Ace B. Okay? So that is the gist of what is going on with setting up your cards. That way, once you make your B or whatever your first suit is, you can just copy and paste it over and over again onto all of your cards. You're going to have lots of documents saved into your profile of all your projects because we can only fit 4 cards on a page. You're going to have a total of 54 cards, including jokers. You're going to also design your back of your cover or your card of whatever that is. And remember, you're being influenced by an artist that you found online. So my artist was Romero Brito. So if I look up Romero Brito, he uses lots of bright colors, black lines, and patterns. I'm going to use this on the front of my card in my own way. So my idea is to use a paintbrush, but fill in every bit and piece in the background like he did with this one of the bear, and everything is divided into like a mosaic and lots of bright colors. So whatever artist you chose, make sure it's clearly seen of how it's influencing your card artwork. Once you get these done, you're going to move on to the next thing. So remember, before you start a new document, every time, change the page size. Also, you can set these to the rectangle size as well. You can copy and paste these icons. So if I have more B's to do on my cards, I can copy and paste those over into a new document in Vector. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Remember, you have the gradient tool as well to add little details such as shine spots. The one thing I want you to consider is the font type of your numbers. Is pick a creative font. Don't pick the first font on the list over here. Pick something that kind of matches your style of your card and make it fun, okay? Size does matter as long as all cards are the same and they are close together so we can print them accurately. You should be good to go. All right. Email me if you have questions.